morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity in Naperville. Thanks for joining us for this beautiful time together. Even though it's raining a little bit, feels like fall or maybe spring. Good news is it's the Advent season and we're celebrating Christmas this month. So I'm grateful to have some time with all of you. And if I haven't met you yet, maybe you folks online are watching from far away, welcome. We're glad you're here. I'm Kitty Benson, the minister here at Unity. We have an awesome band, Highest Good, that's going to sing us through the service today. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And you know, we've been talking off and on in the last few weeks about another choir that has been joining us on Sunday mornings. Though they've kept pretty quiet for the most part. We were here last week on Saturday decorating, and the choir showed up out in the front yard. So before we actually start singing our songs this morning, I wanted you to hear their Christmas song to you up here on the screen. Parker?
Surely you can sing as loud as a crane.
Yes?
You call us to walk on water. You call us up even higher. You strengthen our hearts when we are weary. You steady our souls, we're brave in the fire. Let our faith become a mountain that will rise and never fall. Lifted high above the valley, we declare your kingdom come. We rejoice in what you've promised. Heart, mind, and soul. Let our faith become a mountain we stand on. Oh, we stand on. We'll sing that all again. You call us to walk on water. You call us up even higher. You strengthen our hearts when we are weary. You steady our souls, we're brave in the fire. Let our faith become a mountain that will rise and never fall. Lifted high above the valley, we declare kingdom come. We rejoice in what you promised. Heart, mind, and soul. Let our faith become a mountain we stand on. Oh, let our faith become a mountain we stand on. We will stand unaffected by the chaos. We will stand no matter what the cost. No more worry, no more fear. Every doubt will disappear. Every doubt will disappear. Let our faith become a mountain that will rise and never fall. Lifted high above the valley, we declare your kingdom come. We rejoice in what you promised. Heart, mind, and soul. Let our faith become a mountain we stand on. Let our faith become a mountain we stand on. Yes. rock and roll there. Maybe we do a little country-ish now. What do you say? I know country is not Kitty's favorite, but she's always game. So give her a country hand or a yeehaw. Yeehaw! Thank you, Kitty. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spirit withholds nothing from me. Spirit withholds nothing from me. Spirit withholds nothing from me. It is done as I believe. Let's sing that first. What Spirit withholds nothing from me. Spirit withholds nothing from me. Spirit withholds nothing from me. It is done as I believe. I declare joy, joy like a fountain. I declare peace, peace like a river. I declare faith, faith to move mountains. It is done as I believe. For Spirit withholds nothing from me. Spirit withholds nothing from me. Spirit withholds nothing from me. It is done as I believe. Let's take it up. Spirit withholds nothing from me. Spirit withholds nothing from me. Spirit withholds nothing from me. It is done as I believe. I declare joy, joy like a fountain. I declare peace, peace like a river. I declare faith, faith to move mountains. It is done as I believe. Oh, Spirit withholds nothing from me. Spirit withholds nothing from me. Spirit withholds nothing from me. It is done as I believe. Yeah. It is done as I believe. Let's declare that. It is done as I believe. As I believe.
Yes. It's all about believing today. Let's just take a moment to turn inward to the source of our faith, to the power that expresses our faith, and thankful this morning, Spirit, that divine light that empowers all that is, pours freely through us as faith, as wisdom, as love, as creativity. We are the faith of God expressing, and so it is. Amen. Will you help me speak our invocation? The words are up here on the screen. Together. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you. You may be seated.
I allow goodness to come in. I am ready to receive. I allow goodness to come in. I believe, I believe, I believe. I allow love into my life. I am ready to receive. I allow love into my life. receive. I allow fortune in my home. I believe, I believe, I believe. I allow surrender in my soul. I am ready to let go. I allow surrender in my soul. I let go, I let go, I let it go. Welcome hope and faith. Welcome loving ways. Welcome hope and faith. Welcome loving ways. I allow goodness to come in. I am ready to receive. I allow goodness to come in. And I believe, I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe.
Me too. I believe. You know, our rainy weather makes it hard to get into the Christmas spirit, but starting last Sunday, the Advent season began. And if you weren't raised in a traditional church, that might be kind of an unusual word for you that you don't apply to Christmas, but it's about the coming into being of something, like the advent of spring. You can feel it in the air. You can sense it as the little buds come out on the trees. And these 4 weeks prior to Christmas, 4 Sundays, is about the beginning, the welcoming, the opening to something special. And for Christians, this is a view of preparing for the birth of the Christ child. And it was something that probably came about thousands of years ago. They read about it in the book of Isaiah, which is Old Testament, and probably written 800 years before Jesus was born, there was a prophecy that a Messiah would come. And they expected that Messiah to be a ruler, actually a military ruler that would sit on a throne and oversee a government. And you know, they'd had some rough times. If you read the Old Testament at all, you can see how the Jews are constantly struggling with one thing or another and scattered at some point, and then the tribes are back together. And it just got really messy. So they were hoping for this ruler to come back and bring them all together. And sadly, like a couple hundred years later, they were worse off than before after that prophecy, where now they were captives of the Babylonians and brought into slavery against their will. And I think there's a Christmas carol that we sing. Maybe you've heard it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to invite you to sing along if it sounds familiar, that the words describe the mood of the Jews during the time that they were being held in captivity. So if we could just put this up on the screen, let's give it a little go. Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel,
Oh, yes, it's falling down your back. There you go.
Thank you, honey. I'm mournful now, too. Oh, but it sounds mournful, doesn't it? Can't you just feel, the sadness of the people, and they've lost their promised land that they were promised for so long, and it's an opportunity for them to hope and hope and hope again that the Messiah would come and free them from their plight. Now, today, Christians see that as problem solved. They believe that Jesus was the Messiah that came, and that it turns out wasn't a military ruler, but someone that freed them from something else, what they believe to be their sinful nature, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But now that we're in 2021 and the Christians have the Messiah, why do we include hope during the Advent season? What's the big deal about it? He's here. But I think that there's a lot of ways that we can use hope during this Advent season. We've got a lot to hope for yet. I know that 2020, Christmas time, we were hoping that come this year, things would be a lot different, right? We thought for sure we'd be done with the masks and everybody would be vaccinated and we could all be together again and have parties and gatherings, and we're going to instead Christmas carol out in the parking lot, separate ourselves. That's going to happen, I swear, next week because of the rain. We're postponing it. Yeah. So instead of being able to travel like we thought or be employed or have businesses reopen, we're here. We're still hoping that we can get beyond this pandemic. We're still hoping that we can move past our grief of the many that we've lost during this last year and a half. We're hoping that we can get back to work and we can heal the separation that we feel physically, but there's also been created a sense of division. Have you felt that in consciousness between people? That we might want to use our hope for to heal, to dissolve during this Advent season. And, I hate to say that I kind of expected this, but I was forewarned last year in March when this first all came about by a Unity minister who also has been well-trained in crisis management. And she had been through things like this before and said, you guys, it's probably going to go on a lot longer than you think. And probably by the end, you're going to feel very weary, almost like you've been through a war, that you'll feel like there's this fatigue, this war fatigue. And it's so weird because I was just reading one of my dad's letters to my mom from Korea. Before she passed, she brought me this big bag of letters that she'd saved written by my dad to my mom during the war. And last night I came upon one that I hadn't seen anything like it before. It was a little journal, January 4th, 1952. Living in a bunker, temperature is below zero, winds are picking up. My machine gun is frozen solid. No heat in the bunkers, can't seem to get it. And then he would just go day by day and it just seemed to get worse and worse. And I thought, wow, that was January, and he wouldn't come home for an entire year. So if he'd known at that point that he was going to be going through that for another year, I don't know whether he'd have hope or not, and that might be how we feel today. It's just like, come on, how long is this going to go on? Thankfully, we're not in a bunker in 0 degrees with, no heat, but some people are. So there's a lot to hope for, and the good news is, even though hope feels a little tentative, might bring a sense of uncertainty about whether it's going to come to pass or not. In Unity during this season, we combine hope with the power of faith, which is a little bit different. I think you probably know that if you've hung around with us for any period of time. And we are studying this Advent booklet. Hopefully you've picked one up, but if not, there's some freebies out there on your way out today. And we're meeting on Wednesday nights to chat about these different weeks of the Advent season. So this past Wednesday, we talked about hope and faith. And one of the writers in this booklet is Karen Shepard, a Unity minister. And up here on the screen, she said that hope is a beginning expression of faith. Through spiritual practice, hope evolves into its fuller expression, which is faith. Faith is the sure knowledge that our good is ours, right here, right now. Faith does not waver. So I'm starting to see hope as being kind of the alert that something new is possible, and then we apply our power of faith to help bring it about. Hope is when you get that divine idea of something laid on your heart, and then faith is that which comes and brings it from the invisible into the visible. So I know we probably don't recognize this moment by moment, but your life has faith at the foundation of it. Whatever you're living right now is a result of your faith. Because keep in mind that faith has something to do with the spiritual realm, but we're actually using it in our human experience all the time, and we just don't realize it. That faith that we use is what we see demonstrated, and we can tell what we put our faith in. So some of us might put our belief in our paycheck or 401k, retirement plan, stock market, and believe that that is going to make life good until that goes away. And many of us have lost jobs or we've watched the stock market drop. So not necessarily a good thing to put your faith in because it's unpredictable. A lot of us put our faith in what the news says or what the government is doing, or we're expecting the government to be the provider of all of our good. We might just let society tell us what to believe in and follow along, but we've always been let down in one way or another when we do that. Some of us put our faith in our brain, our education, our degree, and trust that, hey, I've been to school, I know it all, and then we find out not so much, or even my resume can't get me a job these days. Some of us believe that our physical abilities will see us through, that we deal with things in a physical way, and we just kind of force our way to make things happen, and when we can't, then we give our physicality over to drugs and alcohol, and we put our faith in that to make it better. So the important thing to remember here when we're talking about faith is it is an incredible power that will work for good or for bad. It just depends on what we put our faith in. And from thousands of years ago, from the book of Proverbs up here on the screen, it says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. We become what we believe about ourselves, what we think on, how we perceive the world, we become. And Jesus told us in Matthew 21, he was telling them, I tell you, if you have faith and do not doubt, it will be done. Whatever you ask for in prayer with faith, you will receive. And probably the most basic statement of how this power of faith works is, according to your faith, let it be done. What I believe, I receive. So this faith is something that's a storage space for us that then reproduces. It's in the subconscious level of our thinking, and it's been gathering all of our thoughts and feelings and beliefs over a lifetime, and then it reproduces out. That's where your beliefs are stored. And that faith is known to you according to your feelings best. It's actually demonstrated as an energy. You can literally feel this energy in your body. That's why you know if your faith is in something positive or negative, because you can kind of sense that in your emotions. You know, when you're holding a thought and it doesn't feel good, or you're holding a thought and you're really excited. Either one of those are faith, and your emotions are telling you because your energy is representing it. And that energy sets that law of attraction into motion, and it brings back more thoughts and feelings and beliefs and actions, results that you started with. So this is how we describe faith working in our lives. And your life is a demonstration of what you believe. So if you're wondering, just take a look, see where you're at in life. But the good news is, if you don't like what you see, and especially now in this Advent season when we want to use our faith for good, we have a way of evolving. We have a way of taking our hope, our desire, and then raising it up to something stronger. You know, a lot of times, if we don't know the difference between hope and faith, we might find ourselves just hoping that God will intervene in our problem and take care of it for us. but it's faith that will actually turn that hope into something visible. And the way for us to use that on purpose is to create a practice that's based on your understanding of spiritual principles. So we call faith understanding faith versus blind faith. And I want to go through that simple outline of spiritual principles today with you to remind you of why you can have faith and what your faith should be in. Because once you build this foundation underneath you, then you can have anything that your heart hopes for because you know why it's possible. So let's start up here on the screen with the first principle, and that is to realize that there's only one presence in the universe, and it's God. And so that means that I'm living in a loving universe. This presence is what we are sourced out of, and we can never be experiencing anything outside of that realm of God and good. That means that we can relax and trust that even though the circumstances may look off, the truth is the spiritual realm is first and foremost holding this universe together, and it is good and it is for us. So up here you'll see a yellow statement after each of these principles. That's your affirmation to say with me. Let's say that together. Life is for me. That's the first thing you want to do when you wake up in the morning to strengthen your faith, is to go, life is for me. Hallelujah. Nothing to push against, nothing to worry about. Life is for me. The next principle that you want to remember is about divine substance. Think of spiritual energy. Think of that field of pure potential that fills this universe, that everything is made out of. We would say that that is also God expressing. Therefore, it's infinite, everywhere present, and it's malleable. It becomes what we plant ideas into, which will be the next principle. But for now, let's just start with defeating that idea that there's not enough to go around, because we remember that everything our heart desires is formed out of substance that is everywhere present. So let's say this affirmation together. There's always plenty to go around. Breathe into that. And what we do with that substance is we plant divine ideas. That's our next principle to know. Right now, just imagine you're living in the mind of God. Really, everything is consciousness. It feels solid, but this consciousness is holding this solid thing together. And this consciousness is a realm of infinite divine ideas in the mind of God, the omniscience, all-knowing, all-knowledge of God that we have access to because we're in that mind too, that we share the one mind. And so anything that God knows, we can come into awareness of if we're open and receptive. And it's those divine ideas that are really the first moment of creation for us. When something is laid on our heart and we go, oh, we feel that desire for that thing. So let's remind ourselves of that together. My mind is filled with good ideas. And once we have that idea and we plant it into that realm of spiritual energy or substance, and we focus on that idea until we can feel the end result, we are now activating divine law, which then brings more of the same to us. The law of mind action. So that's activated by our thoughts and feelings and beliefs about a divine idea. So let's say that together. I set the law in motion for good. Remember, we're using it all the time, not necessarily for good. So purposefully, we want to remember this. And this next slide is about how we use those principles to strengthen our faith. And the first is to feel grateful that those principles are true. To be grateful that we don't have to go find our stuff because spiritual energy is everywhere. We don't have to work against some power that's trying to keep us from something because everything is for us. That's worth feeling grateful for, right? So we speak this together. I'm grateful for the loving source of my well-being. And we use our words to keep strengthening our faith. We talk about affirmative prayer and unity as a way to remember what is true about God in our lives. Over and over and over again, we affirm that we have the faith to create what it is that we want in our life. So let's say this together. I can do all things through my faith in the Christ as me. Yeah. And then finally, if you really know all these things as true, you can start to live them and live life generously. If I know that God is my source, infinite, loving, creative, and that there's a law waiting to be activated by that knowing, then I can go ahead and live my life generously. I can give myself away. I can give my material goods away. I can be present for other people. I can be more patient. I can know that what my heart desires is on its way. It's already done in the heart and mind of God. So let's say this together. I am God's good in expression. So we're back to Advent and Christians believing that the Messiah has already come and redeemed them of their sinful nature. And Unity looks at Jesus' life a little bit differently. We see him as an expression of the Messiah, which is the Christ expressing, as a demonstration. So instead of saying the great exception, we see him as the great example. We see him as our way shower. And that his life was a demonstration of how we too might reveal the Christ within. And that is what we see Christmas as. It's a celebration of birthing Christ consciousness in us, giving birth to the mind of God through our awareness. Now, that doesn't happen very easily, does it? You probably might have noticed throughout your life that you're not fully and always present in your Christ consciousness, expressing as God. And so, from the Jewish point of view, they would not necessarily agree with the whole idea that we've been redeemed. And I found a really interesting statement from Jewish Rabbi Jacob Staub. Let me share this with you. He says, as a Jew, I rest in God's unconditional love and the ever-flowing blessings that come to me through divine grace. I do not, however, believe that the world has yet been redeemed. In a redeemed world, swords will be turned into plowshares. Nobody will go hungry. The powerless will not be oppressed, and justice will prevail everywhere. This was the vision of the biblical prophets, and it remains the foundation of Jewish hope for the future. That would be a beautiful demonstration of Christ consciousness, wouldn't it? And we have the opportunity to give birth to that Christ consciousness, to allow those things to come to pass. But this is an evolutionary process, so we're not going to beat ourselves up that we are not as fully evolved as Jesus was. We're just going to know during this Advent season, we're going to allow it to remind us that we have the faith to be able to reveal more of that Christ consciousness in us. It's always available to us, and am I willing to put my faith to use, to bring it about? Now, one of the most important things you do to use your faith is to set intentions. You want to set intentions for what it is you want to create with your faith. So, what is your heart hoping for during this Advent season? What divine idea is being laid on your heart that you would like to see come to pass? During our Christmas chat this past Wednesday, I asked the students some questions, and hopefully it will get your juices flowing again too, as far as where you want to put your faith. Up here on the screen, what would I want the spirit of the holidays to be this year? You can just rest in that question and realize that, first of all, Spirit has an answer for you there. And secondly, you have the power of faith to bring it about. So you might want to set your intention to whatever that answer is. Another question was, what gift could I be in the world this season? And then thirdly, what is my reason for the season? Why do you celebrate Christmas? And do you want to use your faith to be that, to live that during this holiday season? One of the students that attended shared her vision. She said, "I'd like to hold space for those less fortunate this holiday season. Each time I see an ad through the media about what Christmas is supposed to look like, I'm going to try and visualize the less fortunate receiving blessings." That's a way to put your faith to work during the Advent season. And as you visualize that, if it's yours to do something, your heart will know. Your faith will guide you. It will open doors for you. It will provide resources for you. So remember, you don't need to know how. You just allow good to flow through you. You just hold the faith in the divine idea that you hope for. Remembering the principles behind it. Remembering that the resources, the substance is there, that the world is for you because the universe is for you. If we start off with a faith that knows that, then nothing can get in the way of us creating our Advent hope and bringing it into reality. So how might you use your faith this season? Maybe for yourself, it would be just revealing more of your inner light in the world. Or if you've been really struggling, maybe your hope for this season is peace in your heart and using your faith to project that in consciousness, to feel the energy of that peace. Maybe for others, loved ones, strangers, co-workers, whoever, that your faith is used to support them in a physical need, to just be a listening presence for them or a loving heart for them. And then we think about our planet during this holiday season as that which is open and receptive to our human support. How might we use our faith to support our planet this season? Maybe to consider that I want to be a presence of harmony with all life on the planet. Or I want to be a good steward of my planet and show respect and care. How can I use my faith and be that in the world? And of course, speaking of the world, think of the world of humanity. How do you want to use your faith to support humanity? Not just in the Christmas season, but all the time. How can I use my faith to restore a sense of oneness between me and all people? How can I use my faith to be a presence of generosity, to be a presence of patience and compassion, to desire well-being for all beings? What is your heart calling you to in connection to the human race? These are all great opportunities to listen to that hopeful desire laid on your heart and then put it into manifestation through your faith. All things are possible for those who believe, Jesus said. One of the things that our co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore, did to practice her faith was to pray a prayer. It was actually called the Prayer of Faith, not written by her, but by Hannah Moore Cohouse. And it's something that we learn early in Unity, and many of the old-timer Unity ministers know it by heart. I have not committed it to memory yet. It's got a little bit of an older language to it. You'll hear it here in a minute, but it's so pure in expressing all that we can put our faith in because of the principles behind them. And if you can memorize this, it really can be something that will carry you through the darkest days when you feel like all hope is lost, as it speaks the truth of God in our lives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to say it with me. And then we actually have a video of our co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore, and hear her voice saying this prayer. So if you've never heard Myrtle speak before, you're in for a treat. Might be hard to understand, which is why part of the reason I want you to say it first, so you know what she's saying. So let's say this together. God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of this day. I now am wise, I now am true, patient and kind, loving too. All things I am, can do and be through the Christ, the truth, that is in me. God is my health, I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing, quick. God is my all, I know no fear, since God and love and truth are here. Let's take a listen to Myrtle, and then we'll go into some meditation.
God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of the day. I now am wise, I now am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I am, can do, and be, through Christ the truth that is in me. God is my health, I can't be sick. God is my strength unfailing quick. God is my all, I know no fear, since God and love and truth are here. Amen.
Take a breath. Become aware of that presence. The very life of God, humming in your body. An eternal life that empowers you beyond the body, that never fails. The life we call on when our body feels weak. In this moment, I call on the power of life to stream as light through every cell. A light that calms, clears, cleanses, and soothes. Thank you, God, for life. The life that heals and renews. I sense the space in this room around me. The space that expands out beyond this building, this city, this planet, beyond the ends of the universe, is the essence and space, the substance and energy of God. This perfect substance that becomes manifest through my faith and imagination. I give thanks for the infinite realm of God's good, becoming my daily bread. As I put my thoughts on God, I realize God is thinking through me. God's thoughts are my thoughts. No question can go unanswered. Before I ask, God has replied. And in this quiet space, I open my heart to the love that is present. A love that sees my good and works for my good. A love that causes all things to harmonize for good. I am loved, and I am love. God and love and truth are here, and I am grateful. Amen. So in case you didn't know, that prayer, that slide is available with our podcast. So yes, you can watch the video again if you want and copy it down, but you can also just go listen to the podcast, and there's a set of slides with them on our website. So you can grab that prayer from Hannah Moore Cohouse, or you could probably just look it up online. The prayer of faith. It's a good one to embed in your consciousness, to bathe everything in the subconscious with renewed ideas. Put your faith to work. And we've come to a time in our service where we put our faith to work through our generosity, through our expression of God is good. And we take a moment before we share in our tithes and our love offerings to remember that good that God has given and is giving to us and through us. And if you are being blessed by divine ideas and conversations that we have here through Unity, then your gifts are a way to keep that moving in the world. So thank you for what you can contribute today. And if you'd like to do that online, we have a donate button on our Facebook page and at unityinnaperville.org, or mail a check to Unity's Post Office Box 9733, Naperville 60567. Let's bless our offering and allow it to expand. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Thank you. Ushers, will you come, please?
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, highest good. Thank you, Reverend Kitty. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Kathy.
My name's Kathy Folser. I'm here to read the announcements. And I'm just so glad to see people. We're getting more and more people here physically at church, although, yay.
Love seeing you.
Love to have you online as well, so thank you all for being here. If you are joining us for the first time, I want to especially welcome you. I hope that you can feel our hearts. If you've been coming here for a while, you know our hearts. So welcome, we're glad to have you here. I can't quite see in the sanctuary, but if you are here physically for the first time, we have a welcome packet out in the front room on the table to the left of the front door. Help yourself. That will give you more information about Unity in Naperville. If you are online, we've got all our information on our website. And if you want to get our weekly e-newsletter, Melody will take care of you. Just send her an email to admin@unityinnaperville.org. So thank you. And let's see what is going on this week. So today is the last day to support grandparents raising grandchildren through Unity in Naperville. You can make monetary donations to Unity in Naperville online. You'll go to the regular donation place, just put GRG or grandparents raising grandchildren, something in the subject line to indicate what you want it to be donated to. We also have a box in the lobby. If you're here in the sanctuary, you can stop by on your way outside. So thank you for that. And Melinda, I saw you. Melinda, thank you for getting that started. Okay, not today, sadly. Next week after the service, until about 1 o'clock. Sorry for the rain, although we did need some precipitation. Sorry, a little editorializing. So join us in the parking lot for Christmas caroling. Our own Kevin Conlon's going to be singing. I wasn't actually here for this last year, so I'm not 100% sure how it works, but it sounds like you're going to be in here singing, and then we tune in on the radio, and sing along in our cars. So, and there will be speakers outside. Awesome. Okay, wow, this sounds fabulous. All right, I'm definitely going to do that.
And I'll be honest with you, people did not start.
That's what I heard. I have my ugly sweater out in the car. I wanted to be prepared. So, so bring your ugly sweater. What else are we doing here? Okay, bring an ornament to put on the garland. Very nice. Decorate your car. Wear your light up holiday bling. Have some cider, have a snack, and we will be awarding prizes. I want to win a prize. I might need to up my game on my ugly sweater. We'll see how that goes. Not that I want to stack the deck. I don't know who's voting. I'll talk to you afterwards. Okay, sorry. Back to business here, Kathy. Okay, also, if you have not done so already, Kitty mentioned she is having Advent discussions every Wednesday from 7 to 7:30 through December 22nd. We have a booklet, an Advent booklet out in the front room, or if you're online, you can download that. So that is Wednesday, 7 to 7:30. Details are online. So see the events calendar for more information about that. Holiday-themed mugs are still on sale in the front room. I saw a few of them last week. They're very cute. They're available till December 19th, $10 each or 3 for $25, and all the proceeds will go to Unity in Naperville. And lunch online, Cindy, I bow before you. This baby has legs. Cindy has been doing lunch online every week, twice a week for a while, but every week for a year and a half? Forever, seems like, yeah. So, yay. You've got to be familiar with Lunch Online by now, but just in case you're here for the first time, Lunch Online is where you just log in at noon, bring your lunch or don't bring your lunch, say hello, stay for 5 minutes, stay for an hour. It's just a great way to connect midweek. So, and Thursday at 7 o'clock, we invite you to join the Healing Power of Grief. This is an online discussion hosted by Unity World Headquarters. So this will be a 2-hour conversation in which you'll hear from authors, ministers, and teachers about their own experiences of grief and how they embrace the gift and even found humor in the grieving process. That sounds really powerful. Thank you all. So love offering is optional for that. And this class will serve as the launch of Unity in Naperville's new grief support group. That'll be starting in January, so I'm sure we'll be hearing more about that. For more info, and if you want to see the link to register, see our events calendar online. I can't read for just a minute. Hang on. Okay. Prayer chaplains are available, and yay, if you're here in person, they will actually meet you in the meditation room after service. So that's just wonderful. I mean, prayer in any form is great, but now being able to pray with you personally, in person, physically in your presence is just a wonderful gift. So we will have a prayer chaplain outside by the meditation room if you'd like personal confidential prayer. If you are online, or if you're here but you would prefer to have prayer through an electronic medium, well, telephone. Okay, that counts as social media, right? Social media for old people? Yeah, so for me, right, for back in my day. Sorry, I didn't mean to insult anybody. Okay, yes, so if you would like to talk to a prayer chaplain on the phone, send an email by 1 o'clock to prayer@unityinnaperville.org and just put POC in the subject line. Be sure to put your name and your phone number, and then they will call you. Actually, if you could send the email before 1 p.m., they'll call you by 1 p.m. Okay, and for more information, anything you want to know, see our events calendar online at unityinnaperville.org. And I believe Jeff has something to say, so thank you all. Have a wonderful week.
Hello, everybody. Our Unity Faith community is nothing if not generous. And so I'm up here today just to thank you on a couple of occasions. First of all, back about a month ago, we had an appeal to contribute to the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry. And this congregation donated $254, which was greatly appreciated by the pantry. And thanks, Melinda, for having taken the lead on that again. She's our community outreach ambassador, it seems. And one more thing, Christmas wreaths. I hope you've all gotten your Christmas evergreen stuff by now. And that fundraiser raised $350 for Unity in Naperville, and thank you for your support. You should have gotten it by, you should have had it pretty much by now, but the range does reach out a little bit into Monday or Tuesday, probably, if you haven't gotten it. All right, thanks.
Thank you. I'll come back up here and say thank you, have a wonderful week. Let's have one more song. So please stand as you're able. Is it birthday Sunday? Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. It is birthday Sunday. Okay, we got to sing. Margot, Jeff, happy. Oh, wow. I hope you all get separate celebrations and they don't just bundle it in with Christmas. Yeah, anyway. Yes, anybody here, if you are a December baby, stand up. And Jeff, you're here. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, Virginia.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you.
So I see the birthday babies sat down, but stand back up along with everyone else. Let's sing this last song. And I know we sing this song all the time, but I really want you to think about it as you take it into this week as that declaration of faith. Yeah. This is a declaration of faith. God is my source.
God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Yes. Love gives me everything I
great song to finish with for our week of faith. This coming week is a week of peace. Join me Wednesday night. We'll talk some more about that. And I just want to say one other thing. If you've been interested in the initiatives that your board is working on for the coming year or two, we're actually going to have some meetings this week. So if you want to put your name next to something along the online community or the education program or the lay leader training, write your name out on the page out here or send an email to admin@unityinnaperville.org, and we'll let you know when the meetings are this week. So thanks for that. Okay, here's our closing affirmation. Wow, look at you. You're like, you're ready to get this moving. All right, together. My faith in God turns my hope into reality. So get out there and turn something invisible into something visible. Love you guys. See you next time.
You call us to